ready for a new and exciting topic? The Real Estate and Mortgage Show is back with your host, Walter Montero. He's a real estate and mortgage agent in Ontario, implements internet marketing strategies, and offers an online course to invest in private mortgages. Let's listen to this fascinating episode. You will surely learn much from this talk.
Welcome again to the Real Estate and Mortgage Show. We're going to start off this week with the topic of rent-to-own. And the reason I want to talk about this is because the rent-to-own topic has been coming up quite a bit recently because of the fact that we've got very difficult mortgage qualification parameters that have come into the marketplace. So we have now what's called this benchmark rate, which basically means people have to qualify 2 basis points above, or 2 percentage points above what they're going to borrow for. So what you actually qualify for on a mortgage and what you're going to pay are 2 different numbers. But what happens is your ability to borrow has been greatly eroded because of these rules. So we're noticing a lot more rent-to-own ads and signs kind of popping up. And we just want to make sure that people are aware of what's entailed in a rent-to-own. If you ever get into a rent-to-own situation, or if you're ever presented with a rent-to-own opportunity, the first thing that I would encourage you to do is, of course, to seek professional help. And I don't mean by professional mental help. I mean professional help by way of a realtor or a lawyer. Make sure that you have somebody that knows what they're doing, especially in the rent-to-own arena, and not somebody that's, just sort of dabbles in it. I mean, somebody that's really clear on it. And I mean, your best bet is obviously to go to a lawyer with the contract that's presented to you, because there's a lot of things to know about a rent-to-own. A lot of people think it's just as easy as, they sort of mistake it with maybe no money down, or, I can go in and these people can help me buy a house, somewhere down the road. And I'm not a big fan of this particular type of purchasing a property. I know for some people, sometimes it's necessary and it works, but sometimes it's just not necessary at all. Like I know in situations, especially last year, where some people got caught in situations where they bought a property, especially a new property, under the old mortgage guidelines, and then the new home closed in the new year with the new mortgage guidelines, so they no longer qualified for the mortgage. So what they did was they went out and sought out rent-to-own investors to help them through these situations. And I think, if the math works out properly and these deals are properly structured, it's probably a good idea. But if you're just somebody that's kind of starting off and you want to get your foot in the door and you want to do a rent-to-own, quite honestly, I would advise that you just continue renting and save up some money while you're renting to purchase a property somewhere down the road. Because the big thing that you got to know about rent-to-own is, first of all, they're not no money down. Most of the times they do ask for some kind of deposit. The investor or the owner looks for, somewhere around that 3 to 5% mark. So it's a significant amount of money. And then you really got to watch whether you're actually going to get that money back or not, because the way those contracts can be structured is that they usually give you, a year to 3 years to structure the deal or to buy the house. And if you don't buy the house at the end of that term, then you could actually lose that money. So be very careful with the way that is worded. The other thing, of course, is the actual rental amount that you're going to be paying. So what you need to recognize is that the rental payments, or your monthly payments, there's a portion that is the rent, and then there's a portion that's going to be credited towards the purchase of the property. So you've got to be very careful with the way that's structured, because lending institutions will only recognize any monies that is paid in excess of what is deemed to be marketable rent. So if they're giving you, let's say, you go out and rent a semi-detached home for $1,300 a month, and they're going to give you a credit for, say, $300 a month towards the future purchase, that is not necessarily going to work out that way, because like in our market here, $1,300 a month is typically what a semi-detached property rents for. So you have to be very careful that money that you pay in excess is money that's in excess of the marketable rent. So they can't count any money below it, okay? So be very careful with the way the deal is structured, also how long they're structured, and how much of a lift there is in the marketplace. Make sure that the lift is realistic in terms of, the future value of the property. I know in the past few years, the way we had that sort of hyperinflated market, some people that were in rent-to-own contracts really benefited because, they were in a contract that maybe had a 3 to 5% lift a year, and then the market went up as much as 20 and 25%. Those people made out like bandits. But those are not normal circumstances, okay? So you've got to be careful with that. And then, of course, the big thing is the exit strategy, okay? When it comes time to buy the property, is the property, in fact, worth what you've agreed to pay for it? Okay, because if it isn't, and you require an appraisal in order to get a mortgage to get out of the deal, then obviously, or to exercise the rent to own, you're going to have a problem. So you've got to be very careful with the values. So maybe the proper wording in terms of making sure that the value is supported by the current market value at the time of exit. And of course, with regards to a mortgage itself, not many lenders recognize rent-to-own contracts. So make sure that you get that duck in a row, because at the end of the day, you could come to the end, have all that money paid out to somebody, and then not be able to find a mortgage company to take it on. Very, very careful, okay? So anyway, again, as I said, make sure that you go and seek professional advice before you go ahead with a rent-to-own contract. I know a lot of times these contracts are signed willy-nilly because people are very excited about the opportunity, but I just say be very, very careful. And if you have any questions for me with regards to that, by all means, I'll be more than happy to help you. You can reach me at 519-624-9222, or you can send me an email at walter@maximumresults.ca.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Real Estate and Mortgage Show. Connect with us at therealestateandmortgageshow.com. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter to get instant access to our new updates. See you at the next episode.